And there we are. Good evening. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys have had a good week. It is Friday. Time goes by very fast. It's amazing how fast the time's going by. Here we are in December. Like, holy crap, the year's almost over. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, anyway, I hope y'all, like I said, I hope everybody's doing well. Good to see everybody here. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. So, before we jump into anything, I do want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. Let's just be kind to each other. If we cannot do that, then those awesome people lit up in blue with the wrenches will boot you out of here. So, we are not going to tolerate nonsense. So, thank you ahead of time. And let's just have a good chat and we will go from there. So, obviously, the big news, and I talked about a little bit earlier today in my other, video, the railroad strike, and how, thank goodness for the government, right? Um, you know, when I saw that they passed that the House passed two different things, I knew right away. I said they're going to pass the one and the other one they're not, because it was the whole vacation thing was or not. I'm sorry, sick time thing was completely different. And sure enough, they passed a thing saying yes they had to go back to work, but they did not pass giving them the sick time that they had been asking for. So I'm just like, I'm sorry. If it's me, if I'm a railroad worker, I'd be like, screw you, government. You don't get to tell me what I can or cannot do as far as that goes. And if it's not a fair contract, they should not be forced to accept it. Sorry. That's just, it's absolutely ridiculous to me, but that's the way it is. Who are we? We are nobody. We have no say in the matter. But yeah, I would be. Yeah, Angela Fleming said I would be pissed as a railroad worker, and I'm sure that they are. But but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. And I'm talking about the railroad workers, because realistically, the ball's in their park. They don't have. See, here's what I find fascinating. Okay, oh, the government's voted, and it says you can't do this. Really, really? If the people decide, yeah, no, we're not listening to you guys, they're going to do what they want to do. So to me, it'll be interesting to see if the railroad workers do decide to say, screw you, we're not accepting this deal. This is not. You don't get to decide. It's not your lives. Here's what I would be curious of. I wonder if all these politicians get sick days. I had somebody in the chat was like, "Well, I don't get any sick days. What makes them so special?" I have never worked anywhere in my life that I did not get sick days. Not one time. Uh, you get so much as when you come on board, you get so many sick days. You may get some personal days. You accrue vacation time. So that's what that makes me crazy. But how does this compare to Reagan and air traffic control? Again, it's a little bit of a different situation, but at the same time, it's government overreach, in my opinion. That's strictly my opinion. And realistically, let's look at what happened to the air traffic controllers down the road. What happened to them? They all got fired. If I remember what happened. But see, here's the difference. Training people to do that job is a little bit different than who's going to train people to do the railroad stuff if the railroad workers are gone. Who's going to train them then? So that's I work in the medical field and still don't get sick days. What are you doing, Lee? Where are you at? Because I've been in the medical field for 30 plus years, and like I said, I have always had vacation time. Always. I mean, now if you're doing Medicaid cases and you're working for yourself, that's a different kettle of fish. But you know, vacation, sick time, whatever the case may be, personal days. If you are part of a union, and a lot of the nursing stuff is union, then you know, I'm a sleep technician. Hmm. Well, I don't know. I don't know. You know, if you're part of the union in the hospital, then I work at a hospital as a sleep technician and still don't get sick days. Work contract. Oh, that's okay. So you're contracted employees. You're not part of the hospital. So that's a little bit different. Not saying it's right. I'm not saying that that's right, but I'm just saying that that's a little bit different. Yeah, vacation time and sick days are different in most cases, right? And you can actually, like you get so many hours of vacation a month. And I'm going from nursing experience, okay? So the way that it worked was you acquire so many hours of vacation a month, so many hours of sick time. So, you get started on a job and you're acquiring that time, and they have a bank basically. And so you have your bank of hours for sick time and you have your bank of hours for vacation time. And and then it's, depending on the holidays and all that type of stuff, time and a half or double time or whatever the case may be. That's a whole different thing in itself. But that's again, and I know every job is different, but nowadays companies lump all together. You can earn time per hours worked, can use for whatever. Okay, Randy Romance, yeah, it just you know it just really, yeah, I understand what you're saying. So it really depends on who you're working for, what union you're involved in, and stuff like that. But clearly, the unions for the railroad workers are getting screwed. But I'll guarantee you this, they're getting their dues paid every month. Their dues are being taken out of their check. I guarantee you that. So, but anyway, so that's obviously not what we're going to be chatting about tonight, but I did want to mention that in that situation that is happening. And again, if it was me and I'm a railroad worker, I'm done. I'm like, screw you, not doing it, not accepting it. We didn't accept it, and we're not going to be told that we have to. That would be my take. But again, you know, who am I? I'm not a railroad worker, so I really don't have a say in it. But I will absolutely support the railroad workers. Now, I want you to understand this, okay? And I actually had a conversation with one of my group members about this today. And so here's the reality. If the railroad workers go on strike, right, does it hurt preppers a lot? Not really. Because why? Because we are prepared, right? So this is what we get ready for. We get ready for the unknowns, what may happen, and stuff like that. It will affect us down the road, yes, but right away, no. But Joe average citizen that does no prepping. So again, how many people don't prep? 95% of the people out there, folks, are not prepared for a 2-week disaster. I want you to remember that. So if the railroad workers do decide to strike and they go anyway, even though they're told that they can't, right? If they decide to do it anyway, the average citizen is going to get it stuck right up their butt because so many goods are moved by the railroads. It definitely will affect a lot of people right away, and down the road, depending on how long the strike would go on for, it will affect everybody. So that's the reality of it. So it's not a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's not a good thing. But at some point, you have to stand up as an individual and say, I am done being screwed by these companies. And so that's why things have to be done. If the railroad workers go on strike, will there be any legal repercussions from the government now? I don't know. I don't know what happens in that situation. But again, the working class man is getting screwed once again. Big business wins once again, and big government is pulling the strings, if you will. But realistically, who's pulling the strings behind that? That would be the question. So yeah, not a good situation, no matter what. So I mean, a strike would be a very bad thing, realistically. But I do believe that they have the right to be given a fair contract. I don't see why anybody would have a problem with that, especially with the fact that for 2 years here, they have not had a contract and they've still worked. So, and I've gotten a lot of information from a lot of people. Basically, what it said is if you want to have a family, don't be working for the railroads, because if you want to get divorced, not see your kids, not see your wife, then work for the railroads. And I mean, who wants to do that? I mean, realistically, you're doing what you're doing to support your family. That's why everybody does what they do. You're being a male, female doesn't make any difference. You're doing it for your family. So that's something that people really do need to take into consideration. So anyway, but all right, I want to talk about this other situation here, guys, because this one. So we're going to talk about, and I'm going to use my wonderful home state of New York as the example, and I'm so glad I'm not there. I'll be honest with you, it's just slowly turning into complete insanity. We're going to point some things out. We're going to talk about some things that are already happening in New York, and what direction they're going in, and what they plan on doing with legislation moving forward. Okay. So right now in New York, any new construction that they're building, okay, if you're building an office building or whatever the case may be, it has to be all electric. It cannot have any gas lines in there, no propane, nothing like that. So any new construction, you are not allowed right now to have gas lines in that construction. All right. So that's the first thing that they're doing right now. So like if you go to New York City and you see a new high rise going in and you're thinking, oh my God, that would be awesome to live in that high rise, realize that that high rise will be all electric. All right. And let me give you a little clue what happens in New York State. Quite a bit, quite a bit. There are power outages. So if I'm in a building, living in this wonderful high rise building, and I think it's fantastic and it's wonderful, and there's a power outage, well, I don't have any propane or anything like that, so I can't even turn the stove on to stay warm, because it's all electric. So when the electric goes out, everything goes out. Now you're sitting in an ice box. And that's an old school term for a refrigerator. For those of you that don't know what an ice box is, that's what I grew up with my grandparents. They called it an ice box because back in the day, instead of having refrigeration, they would be blocks of ice brought in that would keep the refrigerator cold, and they called it an ice box. So just some information for people that don't know. So, but yes, I call it an ice box still, even though it's a refrigerator. But anyway, so any new construction, any new homes, anything like that, New York State, forget about. You are not going to have any kind of gas or even like wood stoves. A lot of wood stoves are not being allowed to be put into new construction as well, because they have all the rules, right? So what direction also is New York going to? Now, California's already nuts. We already know California's nuts with their rules and regulations. And I'm going to point something out when I talk about this too, because I think it shows the insanity of this type of legislation, of this type of thinking. So there's legislation on the books right now that they're getting ready to vote in, and because the Democrats control everything in New York State, right? Most likely it's going to be passed, it's going to be approved. So what they're looking to do is all lawn equipment sold after 2027 cannot be gas powered. So, if you have it already, you can still have it. But any new lawn mowers, any new, leaf blowers, any of that type of stuff, uh, it all has to be electric after 2027. They will not sell in New York State gas powered lawn equipment after that date. All right. So does that mean that I couldn't buy a lawnmower in West Virginia and take it up to New York? Nope, it sure doesn't mean that, because there's not a freaking thing they can do about that. But they're going to limit. Texas is doing the same thing with leaf blowers. So we're gonna talk about what a great big impact this has on the environment. We're gonna talk about that, guys. Okay. We're gonna mention some other things that kind of puts it in perspective. So New York State has done that, right? What they're also planning on doing as of 2035, no more gas powered vehicles will be sold in New York State. So that's the other thing that they got coming down the road here. As of 2035, no more gas powered vehicles will be sold in New York State. Now, if you have a gas powered vehicle already, it's totally different. There's nothing they're going to be able to do about that. But the game plan is to force down the road everybody to do electric. All right. So let's talk about that. And you got to understand their reasoning is because it has such a horrible impact on on society, global warming, whatever crap that they're trying to put out there. This is why this has to be done. This is why everything has to go electric. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to point out about New York State, okay? In New York State, the weather sucks most of the time. All right. It can be very, very cold in the wintertime, especially if you live in upstate New York. Not in New York City. New York City's still going to get snow and they're going to get that stuff like that. But once you get into upstate New York, you can run into some really crappy weather. Let's ask Buffalo. Let's ask Watertown. Let's ask Syracuse, right? All those areas that get that lake effect snow, they're going to get some crappy weather. There's going to be power outages because of that. So if you are not allowed in your new construction to have a wood stove in your house, right? How are you staying warm? And if you have your awesome, wonderful electric car, how are you going to get anywhere once your charge is done if the power's down? I mean, it's insanity. And it's all because we're saving the environment and all this type of stuff. So here's my question to folks, okay? So yeah. How are they going to plow the roads? Right. Yeah. Electric trucks. Anyway, so here's my question. We have, 340 million people in the United States of America, right? 340 million. 340 million. China, on the other hand, has 1.4 billion. 1.4 billion. So they have 4 times the number of people that we have. India has 1.2 billion people. So, those 2 countries alone, huge populations of people. Guess what? They're not doing it. They're not cutting back. They're not saving the world. We have 8 billion people on the planet. Well, there's more than you figure there's more than 25%, 30% of the world population in those 2 countries. And that's just those 2 countries, okay? It is insane to think that if we ban gas-powered lawn equipment, if we ban gas-powered cars in New York State or California or the entire United States, per se, because, of course, they're going to want to do that down the road. And they're going to use every spin they possibly can. If that happens down the road, we're going to be in big trouble, because when the lights go out, if you can't charge up your crap, you're going to be in big trouble. If you're not allowed to have that wood stove in that new construction of that home, you're going to be screwed, because there's no way in New York State you're going to stay warm in your house in the middle of a blizzard, in the middle of January or February in New York State, if the only thing you can allowed to have is electric. You're going to be screwed. California is a different animal, because a lot of California, San Francisco south, A lot of that area, until you get up into the mountains and everything like that, that's all on the coast. It always stays a pretty temperate temperature. That's not New York, folks. New York, the weather absolutely will suck, and it can suck for 6 months out of the year. Why do you think, besides the horrible taxes and everything else that they have that we got to deal with in New York State, why do you think so many people are leaving? Why do you think people are getting out of there? You know, and it's just that's what people need to really take into consideration. That's what people really need to think about. So, oh, there's something I wanted to tell you too, and I just want to remind everybody this one. Starting today, it's available right now on my website. I'm doing a 20% off sale on the Legacy freeze dried food, and it's Equinox, or no, I'm sorry, Solstice 2022 is the discount code. Okay, so if you go to my website, preppernurse1.com, and you see Legacy Foods, you click on that, it will take you to the store within the website. The discount code is Solstice 2022 because we have the winter solstice coming up. So that's why we decided to go with that. We're doing a 2-week sale. You can save 20% on your purchase. So if you decide to go to my website, if you decide to get some Legacy freeze dried food, you can save 20% on that by using the discount Solstice 2022, and that's going to be going on for 2 weeks. So I'm just putting that out there for you guys. Information. If you like Legacy freeze dried foods, great, get it. If you don't like it, don't get it. I'm not no pressure on me. I just offer a sale because I want to try to help people out. Makes great Christmas gifts for people. If you're looking to do that, I think that that's a really good thing too. So anyway, so we will go on from there. But I just wanted to let you guys know that that's what's happening right now on my website. So that started today, and that's going to be running for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today is what, the 16th. So there we are. All right. Okay. So crazy stuff, guys, going on. You know, these politicians, and they just, what is the right word I'm trying to use? Because I know what I want to say. They baffle you with BS. That's kind of what it look. It's just, it's so ridiculous. Even if every American sacrificed, we all went electric, we're saving the planet, we're saving the world, it's not going to make any difference when you have one country with 4 times the people that we have and the other country with 5 times the people that we have that continue to burn coal, continue to do all these type of things, and they're not restricting their stuff for 1 second. They're not restricting for 1 second. So I want you to explain to me, if we do not have a global plan to make everybody comply, because we're the Western world, because we have to make the sacrifice. The UK has to make the sacrifice. Australia has to make the sacrifice. Canada, they have to make the sacrifice. Absolutely insanity. Absolutely insanity. So, yeah, right, exactly. Okie Forge, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with BS. That's about right too. Oh, I saw this today too. I wanted to mention this. So in France, right? France. Oh my God, you guys, I feel for you. So there's another quote that I'm going to give you too. I'm going to give you this one too, because of course this was a poll in the United States. This other one, but first we're going to talk about France, and I'm going to tell about this poll in the United States. So allegedly in the United States, I love that term. So it's allegedly, this poll was put out, and this is what people thought. We'll talk about. So right now in France, you have an opportunity if you're a French individual and you have a weapon that's not registered. Oh my God, heaven forbid that you don't have permission to be able to have a gun, right? So grandpa's, World War II rifle that he picked up, that he had up in the closet or up in the attic, and you discover, oh my God, I have this rifle from grandpa. We better turn this in. They're having their amnesty period right now. So you can turn in ammunition, you can turn in these weapons. So far, 8,500 weapons have been turned in, 1.6 million rounds of ammunition or other projectiles. So what is another projectile? I'm not sure what they mean, but could be arrows or who knows what. But so these sheep are making sure they turn all this in because we don't want to get in trouble because the government has told us what we can and cannot do. Amazing, amazing to me. And I had nothing against the French, don't get me wrong, but when you have the government dictating to you and the way that they word stuff, this person, and I was, as I was reading the article, the one guy was like, well, I really like guns, and grandpa had these guns and they were up in the attic, and I'm just so happy to turn them in. Now, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you what. So that's the propaganda machine working and talking about, oh my God, isn't this wonderful? These people are doing this. I guarantee you this. There's a lot of Frenchmen and a lot of French women over in France right now that are doing this. Okay? To the government saying you need to turn these in. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So what they're going to do, here's the best part. Here's the best part. So all these guns that were turned in, some of them will be given to museums as, antique collector type of stuff. The rest are all going to be destroyed. Oh, and that's going to really make all the difference in the world with crime because, as we know, criminals are scared to death to go back to prison, and they're going to comply with everything that they're told as far as gun laws go because that's why they're in place, because criminals will abide by gun laws. We all know that, right? That's how it works. Insanity, insanity. So the other one that I was going to talk about, and I can't remember where the poll came from, but I saw this today, and I thought when I read the numbers, I went, bull crap. Okay, it said 62% of women and 51% of men in the United States believe we need stricter gun laws. Yeah, okay. I don't buy that for a second. I'm going to tell you what, guys. Call me skeptic. Call me non-believing. But when they come out with these polls that are so jaded to a certain perspective, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I'm sorry. So it's just so allegedly this many people believe that we need stricter. So let me ask you this. When has any gun law ever stopped a criminal from committing a crime? Right? They'd be like, well, how did they get a gun? They're not allowed, right? They're a felon. They're not. If you're so here's the other thing that I find interesting. All right, and maybe I'm wrong in my perspective of this. All right, I believe we all make mistakes. If you pay for your mistake, right? You've committed a crime. You go to prison. You do your time. You get out of prison. I think, okay, you've paid your debt to society. You should get your rights back. But the way it works in the United States is if you are ever convicted of a felony, anytime, you're done. You're done. You're never getting another gun again, if you had one or didn't have one. So what happens? These criminals that are, they've been convicted down the road, they may say, screw you and your laws, and they may get something off the books. It ain't hard to do, folks, okay? As I have said before, and I've said this before, and I always use Rochester as an example. I've lived in the city of Rochester, several different parts of the city of Rochester when I was younger, all right? Lived in the suburbs outside of Rochester for many years as well. At any point in time, right now, today, if I have the money in my pocket and I drive to Rochester and I say to the right people, if I make the right contacts and I say, look, this is what I'm looking for. with inside of a half an hour, realistically, I can get whatever I want if I have the money. So that's how easy, realistically, it is to get whatever you want. It's that simple. It's that simple. So you can make all the restrictive gun laws in the world, and the only thing that hurts is the law abiding citizen, but it's just, it's insanity. It's insanity. So, my thing is this. I believe that everybody should be able to protect themselves. You have that right to protect yourself. And nobody should dictate to you that you can or cannot have permission to do so. I have a real hard time with that. I really, really do. I'm gonna tell you what. I never got a pistol permit when I was in New York State, and the main reason I did never got a pistol permit in New York State was because I didn't feel, why should I have to jump through hoops to be able to do that. So I just always had rifles, if you will, or shotgun, or whatever the case may be. And then then they started trying to restrict that as well in New York State, and they're doing it now. You know what I mean? If you had high capacity magazines in New York State, boy, you better have gotten rid of them, because you're only allowed a 10-round magazine, and if you have a 10-round magazine, you're only allowed to have 7 rounds in there. And again, what does that do? Let me explain what that does. All right. So here I am, Joe, law-abiding citizen, and I have my, let's say I have my AR-15, and it's got, now if you buy an AR-15 in New York State, what happens right now is they got the magazine locked in, pinned into the chamber. So they pin the magazines in there so you can't take them out, which can be changed, but that's how they sell them. So you're supposed to put this only 7 in there. So Joe Criminal goes out and he gets whatever he wants because he don't have to follow any rules or regulations. And you get into a situation and you have your 7 rounds and he's got a 30-round magazine. Who do you think's going to win in that situation? Joe, law-abiding citizen that did the right thing? Probably not at the end of the day. So I find it amazing, and it's like their justifications for limiting. Look what's happening, guys, right now. And I love my Canadian brothers and sisters, but you guys got a lunatic in charge up there that is disarming you. Okay. And I don't get how people are not flipping out. I don't get it. I really, truly don't. You know, how is it? How is it that a small minority of people who live in cities, and that's what they are, they're in cities, so they feel like, well, we're safe and whatever, but where's the most rampant crime? It's in those cities, right? Especially the ones that have disarmed the citizenry, right? Because again, let's look at Chicago, guys. The toughest gun laws in the entire country. And look how many people every year in Chicago are killed by guns, right? It is ridiculous, ridiculous. So obviously, their gun laws are not working because the criminals are going to do what the criminals are going to do. End of story. Never going to change. It's never going to stop. You know. Do you think back in the day, and I want you to think about this one. All right, let's look at a realistic situation. Because the United Kingdom said, okay, the IRA is bad. They're not allowed to do this anymore. They can't do this. Did that stop the IRA from doing what they were going to do? Did it stop them? No. You know, you make all the laws in the world, you can lock up people all day long, but guess what? A lot of those people don't care. They don't care if they're locked up. So it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I don't yet. Canada has sparkle socks and we have Potato Joe. Yeah, exactly. And then the laughing hyena behind him. So yeah, we're screwed. Right. Okie Ford says you already have a gun permit. It's called the Second Amendment. Right. And in my opinion, and if you look at the Second Amendment, what it says shall not be infringed. Look it up. That's what it says. That doesn't mean you have to get permission. I need your permission, government, to be able to do what I want to do. No, absolutely not. Okay. So, you know, that's just the way I feel about it, guys. You know, it's insanity. It continues to be insane. This thing with New York pushing this electric crap. Here's something that I want you to remember too. We're going to get back on topic for a minute. What do we got? 379 in the chat. We got 150 thumbs up, guys. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate it and thank you ahead of time. Also, it makes a huge, huge difference with the algorithms. So the more interaction that we have, the better it is for the channel that way as well. And I thank you for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So let's talk about the other elephant in the room, if you will. With the what's the other elephant in the room is when you're wanting to go all electric. Oh, we're saving the planet, we're saving the world, we're going to go all electric, right? Okay. Let's talk about our antiquated power grid that we have in the United States, where we are having all kinds of problems all the time. All kinds of problems all the time. Power goes out, power's down. Again, we need to completely redo our power grid. Now, I will have some people come on here and say, well, hey, I work for XYZ Power Company and we're working on this area right here, which is great. That's great. And I think that that's awesome. But when you are talking about a 5 to 10 mile area, we have a pretty huge country here, folks. Pretty huge country. All right. And there's a lot of work to be done. And so doing little bits here and there is wonderful and it's awesome, but it doesn't make it better. It doesn't, putting a Band-Aid on a gaping bullet wound, does that stop the bleeding? No. Okay. So, that's what you got to think about. Our system is not designed to handle everybody being electric, every tool being electric. It's not designed to do that. It's not designed to handle that. So there's issues with that. And that's what people need to think about. You need to think about those things because it makes a difference. It really does make a huge difference. So good times, good times. So, morning, a lot of buffering. I'm sorry that it's doing that. But, gotta wonder, electric semi truck, can it even climb hills, and what's a grid you need to have to charge them? And the other part with that is the range on these electric cars, you're not going that far realistically. Okay, you're not going that far, so that's going to really kill. Oh, it's their device. Okay, if you're going any distances, I mean, if you have a 300 range, on your electric vehicle, and then you literally got to stop for 6 or 8 hours to recharge it to do the rest of your trip, that sucks. I mean, that you're wasting a ridiculous amount of time, So, yeah, I just, that ain't for me. I got places to go, things to do, and I'm not going to sit down and have 6, 8 hours of downtime while I'm waiting for my electric car to charge. I'll tell you right now, I will not have an electric vehicle. Not gonna have it. They if they try to come out, if they try to, no, I ride, guys. I love to ride. I'm not ever buying an electric Harley. That is not going to happen. That's not a Harley. Okay. You need to have that engine and that throttle, and that's what you got to have. But yeah, it's just insanity. The whole thing is just insanity. So, but yet they keep trouting it out there like it's the greatest thing in the world, and people just continue to buy it. And the thing that scares me probably more than anything else is when. So here's another thing. So we're going to go back to New York State again, right? So when I was a kid, we had paper bags. You went to the store, you got paper bags. Well, then, oh my God, we got to save the trees, right? So we went to plastic bags because we're saving the trees. Thank goodness for the New York State, we're saving the trees. So we go to plastic bags. Well, now they've outlawed plastic bags in New York State, so you can't even get a plastic bag in New York State if you wanted to. But now it's back to paper bags. But here's the best part: unless you have the reusable bag, I don't know if I have. I don't have one sitting out here. I got a couple of them, but unless you have the reusable bag, which you have half the time you forget and leave in your car, and you go when you're getting your groceries, and then they go, okay, do you want paper? And you go, yeah. Well, then what they're doing now in New York State is they're charging you a nickel a bag for paper bags. So so now it's okay to kill trees again, but we're going to charge you for the bags. Makes but and again, all right. So this is New York State. This is just New York State. I come down here to West Virginia. Guess what? Plastic everything, plastic bags, the whole 9 yards. Everything is beautiful. Nobody gives a crap. So New York State making these rules. Now here's the thing that I want you to think about. Okay, let's talk about this New York State. 15 cents in Oregon. That's Here's what I want you to think about. What products do you buy that doesn't come in plastic? I mean, when you're looking at food, right? If you're getting a thing of muffins, what's it in? It's in a plastic container. If you're getting a gallon of milk, what's it in? It's in a plastic container, right? You think about when you walk into that store and all the things that you're getting, that you're buying, because you want your gallon of milk. I want to get my bison chip dip so that I can have my fries. What's that in? That's in a plastic container. I want to get my 3-bean dip, right? My 3-bean dip so that I can dip my chips in that. That's in a plastic container. What are my chips in? Right? What are my chips in? It's in a plastic bag. I mean, it's insanity. It's insanity. And it doesn't stop. You must hit a YouTube nerve. I was buffering up, probably, but I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm always going to just tell the truth. If it's buffering, guys, sign out and sign back in. That's the best thing I can have you do. Oil is in so many products. It is insanity the amount of products that oil is in. And I mean, it's like, but they're saving the planet because they got rid of plastic bags. Now they're going to charge you, and this is, I'm strictly New York. Now they're going to charge you a nickel a bag for your paper bags. Well, so now all of a sudden it's okay to kill the trees again because we're going to charge you to kill the trees. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it, because I will tell you what. I know that I had probably 6 or 8 of the reusable bags that you can buy, because of course you have to buy them, right? So I had about 6 or 8 of those that I used to keep in the truck, and then every freaking time I went to the store, I forgot them, left them in the truck, went into the store, and now we got crap. Now we got to buy and get everything in, the paper bags and get charged a nickel a bag. And I just, yeah, it's like Total Recall. Exactly. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. When you look at over in India, what is it? The Euphrates River. It's like this big sacred river, right? But what are they doing there? Dumping all kinds of waste. People are urinating and defecating in the river constantly. They're still going in there and washing up and doing everything else as well. But what about all the crap that they're putting in there and polluting? Another thing, I saw the videos in India where they're taking the garbage trucks and bring them to the edge and dump them right in the water. That's okay though, right? That's not going to hurt the planet. Let's talk about Fukushima. Look what that's doing to the oceans on a daily basis. I don't see nobody up in arms about that. I don't see the governments of the world saying, my goodness gracious, we got to do something about this, because this is an environmental disaster, right? The Ganges River. Okay, Lena, thank you. Thank you. Ganges. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. I couldn't remember. I knew it was one of the rivers over there, you know? Yeah, it's just the examples of stuff that is allowed to go on and allowed to happen. I mean, do you think, let me ask you, what do you think is more important? Let's talk about this really quickly. Do you think it would be more important to take care of Fukushima or to stop people from having plastic bags in New York? What do you think is going to have a bigger impact on the planet? Which one do you think? Yes or in the comments. If you think that the situation in Japan with Fukushima is a bigger impact, just say yes. If you think that it's going to be plastic bags, just say no. No one can hear me. Oh, people are hearing me. So maybe, uh, Scape Cat, maybe you need to sign out and sign back in. I think Fukushima is going to have a much greater impact on the planet because look at all the seafood. We eat a lot of seafood in this country, right? A lot of seafood. And so if that seafood is all contaminated with radiation, so the fish swim through the radiated water, get radiation, and then we eat them, where do you think that radiation goes next? You know? Crazy. It makes no sense. I'm going to use New York again, Lake Ontario. They will tell you don't eat these fish out of Lake Ontario. They're probably contaminated. Why are they contaminated, folks? Right? Let's think about this a second. The Genesee River. Genesee River is brown. Is water supposed to be brown? I wonder. Is it water supposed to be brown? I don't believe water is supposed to be brown, right? As kids, there was a place that we used to go in Scottsville, and just as another example, just another example. So we would go to this place in Scottsville. It was called the George Bridge. So anybody from that area knows exactly what I'm talking about. And we would go and we would jump off this old train trestle bridge into the water. Oh, we'll do egg count here. Okay, I'll give you egg count in just a minute. I'm sorry, but I want to tell you this really quickly. So here we're jumping off the bridge into the water. You'd swim. We had the rope swing. You swing out of the tree and go into the water. So here is the bridge. Here's the water we're jumping off into, and right here is the sewage treatment plant. Sewage treatment plant's right there. Think that's safe? Jumping in that water and swimming in that water. I can prep too. We can all do with reducing our waste and better practices simply because garbage and pollution is gross, but the onus should be on corporations, not consumers. I agree 100%. Agree with you 100%. Thank you very much for the donation. Thank you very much for the comment as well. Yes, we could do our part and we can help, but big corporations need to be held accountable. That I agree with that 100%. All right, egg count time. Let's go ahead and do egg count, guys. So I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses, and we will give you the answer in just a moment. But the amount of waste that's dumped into the Genesee River is ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous. So I'll give you guys a moment here, and then I will tell you what the egg count was today. The first person with the right answer was the very first guess that I saw. All Seeing Cats had the first guess and the right answer with one egg and no thick neck today. So, uh, so All Seeing Cats is the winner, and that is where we were at today. So, Now they come out with a different guess. But you had the right answer the first time. So congratulations, all seeing cats. You've won absolutely nothing except for bragging rights until the next live stream. But yeah, it's just craziness. I can't believe that more people are just not like losing their minds when they see what's going on and what's expected of us from the Western world. We're supposed to set the example, right? But when you go to what Middle Eastern companies or countries, I should say, the reason that you shake hands right-handed because when they wipe themselves, they don't use toilet paper in a lot of those countries. They use their hand, their left hand. But we're the ones destroying everything. Like I said, I don't get it. I just don't get it. One egg you will starve. Yeah, no kidding. It's that time of year. It's cold. It's overcast, cloudy, and crappy most of the time in New York State, and so the birds act accordingly. So yeah, it just amazes me. What's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and how we have to do everything, the Western world. And I just when was the last time thick neck laid? It's been a while. Yep, it's been a while. So, but she looks good. It's just she's not a winter layer. She does not lay in the wintertime. So, I believe we should treat the planet decently. Don't get me wrong. So I don't want you to think that I'm anti everything. I try to be as green as I possibly can be, just because that's how I choose to live my life. You know, with trying to be as independent as possible, and as we continue on with what we're going to do here, you're going to see greenhouses everywhere, fruit trees everywhere, blueberry bushes, all those things, because I want to be, like I said again, if I can grow my own blueberries, and I'm going to tell you what, if you've had blueberries out of a store and then you've had fresh picked blueberries, there's a difference of night and day. I mean, it is unbelievable, the difference. And so, if I can walk out into my apple orchard and pick an apple off of my tree that I grew with no pesticides, to me, that's a win. If I can go out there and pick a peach off my own tree, or a cherry off my own tree, or a pear, uh, to me, those things are all a win. So, I just, you know, why would you not? What I mean? Why would you not? Why would you not want to have? I mean, just like with eggs, guys, okay? The difference in eggs between, you know, fresh eggs that you get from your own chickens that you've raised up and stuff like that, you know, it's, and then you go to the store and buy the eggs at the store, there's a big difference in taste, a big difference in taste. So, that's just me. That's my thought on it. That's how I feel. I think that there's better ways, you know, to do things than have some conglomerate that has, thousands upon thousands of chickens all jammed up together. Why not give those animals a good life? They serve a purpose. You give them a good life, and I think that that's important. You know, it's just like dogs. The dogs, yeah, they serve a purpose, but to me, it is, my dog is one of my children. Caesar and Pandora, the same thing. Our animals are treated very, very well, probably better than a lot of people are treated. I'll be honest with you. Um, but love my animals, always have. And eventually I do plan on having cats down here as well. Probably I'm going to wait to the spring because then hopefully I'll be building next year. We're gonna have to see how things go. I don't know how things are gonna go yet, but I would like to get something built here next year so that I can actually have a house. That's the goal. I don't want to live in a camper forever. I'll do it for this year. There was other priorities. So, what happened with the cats? Jay, the cats came from a litter where out of six cats, only two made it, and I just decided that bringing kittens down here and trying to get through the winter with kittens, it's not fair to them, and so I decided not to take those cats. That was kind of what happened there. I'll add cats definitely down the road, from local down here. So I'll get cats down here. My other cats in New York, that's their home. They've been there for 9 years. So I felt, well, obviously some of the younger ones, that's all they've ever known. Like Miss Molly, I don't know if she got dumped off or what happened to her, but that's her home, and she knows that's home. Buddy and Max and Lucy and Soxy. I mean, they've spent the majority of their life on that property up there, and I don't think that it's fair for me to grab them and take them and bring them down here into a whole new environment. They're all older cats, so and I miss him, especially Max. I love Max. Max is awesome. Soxy is awesome as well. But that's I'm not going to take them out of that environment. So, and I hope you build a bunker into the basement of your house. I definitely plan on having something like that happening. Yes. I like elderberry plants. Yes, I would definitely like to have some elderberry plants too. All the different stuff that if we can. Scruffy Cat hasn't been around. Heather said that she saw him someplace else, but once he was hanging around for the winter, and then once the spring came, he was off cat because he's not fixed and stuff like that. So Timex and Rolex, that's funny. Her watchdogs, yeah, right. I like that. But like I said, to me, animals are part of the family. They're a tool like anything else. Like a chicken's a tool, a cat's a tool. They all serve a purpose. But if you treat them right and well, then they're going to be there for you. But it's just we just biggest thing, guys. Do what you can do to help yourselves. Prepare as best that you can because we just don't know. See what grows local to you, Ed. Yeah, there's a lot of things down here that I could put down here. Once we get greenhouses down here. So the growing season here where I am in West Virginia is definitely better than it is in New York. Okay. So that's one thing. So we can start earlier and grow later. The other part of that is as soon as I put in greenhouses, that extends it both ways even longer. And if I do geothermal in the greenhouses, which I would love to be able to do that, then what that's going to do is mean that we can grow year round, which means wintertime, November, December, January, February. That would be. Have you tested Hella in her run? She's been in there several times, guys. Several times. She was in there before I ever got a doghouse in there. So I had some things that I had to do, and I put her in there, and we were gone. And I had people saying, "Oh, she's going to dig her way out and all this stuff." No, she's not digging her way out of there. She hasn't even tried at all. So she's been in there several times. I've had to go here, there, the other place, and she got left behind. Now she has the doghouse. Actually, today what I did, and they haven't shown it on video because I didn't do it till it was almost dusk today. But when I went out today, I topped off some propane tanks and topped off some gas cans. And so when I went to the place where they sell the propane, they also have pine shavings. So I got a bunch of those as well. So what I still had leftover straw. So what I did in her run, I actually moved her doghouse first, and I put straw all down in that area first, then put her doghouse back on top. Put as much straw over the whole course of the area that she has in her run there, and then I ended up putting some of the wood chips when I ran out of straw. So yeah, and it keeps Hella safe too. Exactly. I don't want her on some kind of a lead where she can get twisted up and something could happen. She's in the dog run area, the kennel, if you will. She has a place that she can go to get out of the weather. It's tarp, so she's not going to get rained on if she's sitting in there, and so she can be protected and she can be safe. So you know, we don't use any gas-powered lawn equipment. Goats are the best. Make money breeding and settling while taking care of our property. That's away from society, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Nothing wrong with that at all. So yeah, and no, exactly. Okie Ford says, and no large animals can get to her. If she's in her crate or cage or kennel, if you will, animals aren't going to get in at her. So if coyotes came and tried to get at her, they're not going to get at her. I had to laugh the other day, and we're gonna do shout outs here in just a second. I had to laugh the other day while I was putting up the tarps. Somebody made the comment, "Oh, look at that! Here he is armed when absolutely nobody's around." So once again, I will reiterate to people that have no clue in the world where I am and stuff like that. I live in the woods. All right, I'm in the middle of the woods. There are a lot of predators in the woods. I am not the apex predator out there. So there are other things out there that can kill me. So, yeah, I am going to have a gun on me at all times because if something comes out of the woods, the only thing that I don't want to have in my hand is my junk, okay? Because that ain't going to help me. So if I have a gun on me, I can do something about it. I can't find it. My brain is not here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, that's why I carry a gun all the time. Just so you know. Not that it's anybody's business. Number one, you know why I carry a gun all the time, folks? Because I can. That's why. Number one. That's the number one reason why I can. We have snakes down here that are poisonous that can kill you. There's other creatures out in the woods that can come out of the woods. We have black bear. There's all kinds of other crap out here as well. And there's also two-legged creatures that don't always have good intentions for you. Okay, so I want to be able to do what I need to do to take care of myself. If that bothers you when you watch my videos, then don't watch. You know what I mean? Go watch somebody in the city, planting flowers in flower pots, and they're making a difference and they're saving the planet. There you go. Heavy rain line east of you, Ed. Okay, thank you. So, Kit, Kit says nobody should have to explain what they do to remain safe. Well, I just, yeah, the Mothman. I got the Mothman down here, guys. I also have Bigfoot. If Bigfoot comes out of the woods, you think I'm just going to wave at him? Hey, how are you? Ed, is your family planning on joining you in West Virginia? Becky wants to stay in New York. Right now, Heather is staying in New York for right now. She's doing well, and that's great. And I'm happy for her. Heather said, I don't want to come down there till it's set up. She's already lived once going through things without having and going without. So she's already dealt with that. So she doesn't want to do that again. And I get it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's I totally understand it. See, to me, it's a new adventure, and here we are, and we're gonna get through the winter, and we're gonna do what we got to do, and we'll continue to take care of things as we can, and I can't do it if I'm not here. So yeah, Bigfoot comes and shakes the camper to help me sleep. He rocks me, helps rock me to sleep. So yeah, it just people amaze me. That's all. You know what? Like I said, you don't like guns. Don't have them. I like them. It's a tool, period. That's all it is to me. A gun is a tool. I'm not wearing it because I think I'm cool. I'm not wearing it because I think I'm a tough guy. It is a tool. It is a deterrent. And if I needed to protect myself from two-legged creatures or four-legged creatures or snakes on the ground, that's what it's for. And yes, we do have mountain lions in the area and all that type of other critters as well. There's a lot of things out there that could have very bad intentions for you, and I want to be able to do something about it. So, all right, let's do shout outs. I know I got on a little bit of a rant there, and I apologize, but it just amazes me. What do people think? Live in your city. You think you're safe. Go ahead and be safe. I'd rather be out here, and the worst thing I got to worry about is Mother Nature and the animals out here. So I'll take that anytime. You can have your lunatics in the cities, and you can live with those freaking lunatics. I've done it, been there. Don't ever want to do it again. Don't ever want to do it again. So, anyway, first of all, Icky Can. Shout outs. Let's do shout outs. Icky Can up in Canada. Definitely show him some support. He's a really good guy. You have Angry Prepper with Jason down in New York City. Another really good guy, very laid back. Alaska Prepper with Rudy. There is Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, two different channels, same guy. A lot of good information with his building and what he's doing up in Canada. You have North Shore Preparedness, also up in Canada. There is Corporal's Corner, Bjorn Hansen. There's 80K Man in the Adirondacks. Definitely check him out as well. You have Bizarrizza Jizza, who's in the chat again tonight. Go over and check out his Carrington Chronicles and his stories over there. Another really good channel, really good stories, and it definitely something to listen to. Okay. You have Marfugal News out on the West Coast with Adam and Dax in Seattle. Definitely check them out as well. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Cody with Wrangle Star, another good guy, a lot of good information on his channel. There is Red Poppy Ranch, Survival Lily. You have Kyle's Cabin with Kyle and Sierra doing their thing up in Minnesota, and really good people, very down to earth. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband-wife team, split their time between Michigan and Alaska. Really good channel. Both of them have. Definitely check them out. You have Green Greg's, another really good channel. Southern Prepper One, giving you all the boots on the ground information. You have Gray Man Prepping. There's St. Bernard Acres with Joe. Joe was down here today. Actually, Joe from St. Bernard Acres was here today. Let me borrow an auger that we're going to use to try to help dig the holes, the post holes for the pavilion. So he brought that down, and he got a chance to see the property today. You have Doug and Stacy, another really good channel and good people. You have the Nomadic Movement in Panama, nice young couple down there. The Green Dream Project in Arizona, showing you how to live in the desert and how to survive. Really good channel, good people. You have Camping with Steve Wallace, stealth camping, a lot of fun to watch him and do his thing. You have Bush Doctor Survival. There is Monkey Works, The Needy Homesteader, another really, really good channel. She has been through quite a bit, as anybody that knows that channel knows. Definitely show her some support. You have Boss of the Swamp. He's been around for a long, long time. Gives really good ideas, really good builder as well. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Love Diamond. I think Diamond is an awesome dude. Definitely check out his channel. Go show him some support. And again, when you go over there, tell him Prepper Nurse One sent you over. You have Patera from the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper, Lumina Acres, Suspicious Observer, Bear Independent. You have the Uneducated Economist. There is Bushcraft Bear from the Canary Islands in La Palma. You have Mary Greeley News, giving you all the updates on Yellowstone, the earthquakes and the volcanoes that are going on. You have Adapt 2030. There's Malachi's Corner. You have Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, you should get your weather from Ryan Hall Y'all. He's a good dude. Definitely check him out as well. There is Russell Brand. I love Russell Brand. Russell Brand makes you think, and I think that that is important that we think. I really do. So definitely check him out as well. There's Deep South Homestead, The Outsider, The Fit Farmer. There's Prep Rebel, Simple Life Reclaimed, Townsend's, The Prepared Mind out in California. You have Pinball Preparedness from Tennessee. There is East Tennessee Preparedness, The Economic Ninja, and Little House Off Gritty, also from Tennessee. So those are just a few. I know there's a lot of other channels out there, really good channels, but I can only shout out so many at any one time. So uh, I think we should be supporting each other for sure, and I think that that's important that we do so. So what are we at? 241 on the thumbs up, guys. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do that to show support for the channel again. And thank you ahead of time. Really does make a big, big difference with the algorithms. So thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you for doing that ahead of time as well. So anyhow, but I'm going to head to Angry Prepper channel after this. He's doing a live tonight. Okay, Sharon, cool. Well, tell Jason I said hello if you get over there, all right? But, guys, I'm going to tell you what. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff that they're trying to push down our throats. I don't always agree with a lot of the stuff. Like I said, I do believe that we need to take care of the planet. But there is, there's so many things. If the big corporations actually did their part when it comes to pollution, and not giving them a tax, a carbon tax nonsense. Make them not put the pollution out there. Imagine that. Imagine how much better the planet would be if we did that, right? But that would cost them money, and they sure don't want to deal with that. That's for sure. So I know two people whose cars were chased by a mountain type creature. There's stuff in the woods, guys, that definitely are not normal, if you will. And that happens. I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you a real quick story what happened to me in New York. And then we're going to do We Are Legion right after that. Been in New York on the property up there. I was there obviously 8 years. This year was started the 9th year on the property in New York, but now I'm down here. Okay. I was outside one night, and I go outside all the time in New York, all the time, and I was out there, and the hairs stood up on the back of my neck, and I got that overwhelming feeling. There is something out here, and it's really dangerous to me. Get your butt in the house. And I did. I didn't even hesitate. I just got back inside. It was the creepiest feeling ever. Now, do I know what it was? I don't. But there are mountain lions. There are, Black Panthers and those type of things in New York, even though they will tell you there's not. There are. Okay. I've seen a Black Panther in New York. So there are big cats in New York that can definitely do damage to you. There's other things up there as well, obviously, but for whatever reason, that particular night, something was around that I just got that overwhelming dread. And, I was just like, get out of here. And I did. I got right back in the house. I was like, I don't know what it was, but I'm gone. I'm done. So, yeah, very, very scary stuff. All right, let's do this. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We are all over the world. Where is everybody from tonight? So we have Dayton, Ohio's in the house. Franklin County, Ohio. We have Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Ford, still my favorite name. Central Iowa. Allen down here in southern West Virginia. Tucson, Arizona with Angela. New Mexico, BC, Canada. Ulster Park, New York, Georgia in the mountains. We have Rolling Meadows, Illinois with Kathleen. Verone, BC, Canada with Gypsy Mama Prepper. Greenlee County, Arizona. Eastern Kentucky. East Central Illinois. Columbia, the UK. I hope I said that right. Thank you for being here. Charlotte County, Florida. Flying Post First Nation. Glad to have you here. Trenton, Florida. New Jersey's in the house. Kentucky. Hillbilly Ozark, Arkansas, very nice. Quebec, Canada. BC, Canada with Janet. Glad to see you here, Janet. Utah, uh, Northern Michigan, Fort Payne, Alabama, Smoky Mountains of Tennessee with Lena. Very good to have you here. Fort Worth, Texas with Sonia. West Central Ohio with Dale. Southern Indiana. Troutman, North Carolina with Troy. Westport, Connecticut with Gemcat. Very nice to have you here. South Dakota's in the house with Natasha. Very cool. Connecticut, Bay City, Michigan. Hollywood, Florida with Donna. Erin, Tennessee with Jay. Oregon. I probably keep saying it wrong. Uh, Dwindy, Virginia. Mr. Black Cat 52. Okay, I hope I said that right. New Hampshire. Leesburg, Florida with Joan in the house. Torrance, California with Susan. Glad to have you here. Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. We have Bumstead, Florida with Frederick Nolan down there. Delbert Jones in Missouri and the Ozarks. Again, guys, we are all over the place. Ontario, Canada. California with Shelley. Oneida? Is that what that says, James? I don't know. Southwest Wisconsin. So, like I said, again, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. We are the ones that truly can make a difference now. We can make a difference after an event as well. We need to continue to try to wake people up, which I think is really important to do. And just keep plugging along. Do what you can. Don't be victims. That's my biggest thing. If you don't take anything else from me, don't be a victim. Be proactive. Help yourselves. Help your family. Put yourself in the best position for whatever may happen. And if you do that, uh, you're going to be in much, much better shape. There's Clyde is in the house from Inverness, Florida. Good to see you here, Clyde. Please tell the wife I said hello. But yeah, it's just, keep being proactive. Have plans. Put them in place. Do what you got to do. That's all we can do. That's the only thing that we absolutely have 100% control over is that. That's it. I'll tell you what, I hope we have a lot of time before SHTF happens. That's my hope because I got a lot of work to do down here. There's a lot of things that have to be done. And SHTF would really inconvenience me right now. Your story, Ed, just convinced me not to move to the woods. Oh, the woods are beautiful, though. They truly, truly are. The woods are fantastic. They're magical. I love being in nature. Absolutely love being in nature. And I will tell you this, since I've been here, I have not had that creepy feeling here yet. I have not had that here. But I also have an 85-pound German Shepherd that goes wherever I go. So that helps. That definitely helps. And that weird, eerie feeling that I had up there was before I ever had Hella. So, but yeah, I find peace in the woods. I am one with the earth, Mother Nature, if you will, one I'm in the woods. If you want to call it being close to God, that's what I am in the woods. I love it. Love it. So, anyway, guys, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. Ladies and gentlemen that moderate for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much. Really much appreciated. Also, I want to thank all you guys for being here because without you here, I would not be here. So I appreciate you joining me for these chats. I hope you learned something. I hope they're informative. I hope we have good chats, talk about different things. I think that that's important to do so as well. Look at things from a different perspective, I guess, is a good thing as well. So anyway, guys, remember we are truly all in this together. We are one race called the human race. If we could ever figure that one out, we will absolutely be in much, much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us over race, religion, political affiliation, the vax, the unvaxxed. It's all games, all stuff to keep us fighting amongst ourselves, completely unnecessary. If we could come together, we could accomplish anything. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about. All right. Last but not least, STD. Step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to accomplish, whatever you are trying to do, you can do it. The only person that is going to stop you from reaching your goals is you. That's it. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, you are going to be just fine. Don't listen to the negative people telling you what you cannot accomplish. That's important. Okay. The other thing I was going to tell you again, one more time, real quick, before I jump off, I'm doing the sale with the legacy freeze dried food on my website, preppernurse1.com. And the discount is a 20% discount on the legacy freeze dried food using the discount code Solstice 2022. So definitely take advantage of that. I'm going to be running that for 2 weeks. If you're thinking about getting freeze dried food, now is the time to do it. It also makes great Christmas gifts as well. So definitely take advantage of that. All right. I hope everybody is safe. I will see you guys all in the next one. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.